Welcome to Session 3 of the series Discovering the Divine Principle. In this session, we will be studying the Principle of Creation Part 2, how it all works. In the previous session, we learned that God, the original being, can be best viewed as our heavenly parent, possessing both masculine and feminine attributes. In addition, within God, there is an internal nature in which resides God's heart of love, God's intellect, emotion, and will. And also within God is God's external form, the source of all the energy in the universe. In this session, we are going to take a look at how the creation works. How are things able to exist, to move, to grow, and to multiply? Let's take, as an example, an atom. How did it come to exist? And how does it maintain its existence? Its existence begins with God, the origin. In God, the two aspects of plus and minus were originally one. The act of creation takes place when God divides the plus and minus. After being divided, plus and minus want to come back together as they were, but instead of returning to their original state in God, God designed it so that they come together in a relationship of giving and receiving. In this relationship, each keeps its own identity, while at the same time being tied to the other. In an atom, the plus particle is called the proton, and the minus is called the electron. The unity of these two particles, as they continuously engage in a give and receive relationship, is what makes it possible for an atom to exist. Next, this atom can go to a higher level and engage in a relationship of give and receive action with other atoms, which allows molecules to exist. And then, when these molecules engage in a relationship of give and receive action with other molecules, it produces molecules that are more advanced and complex. Through this process, the universe advances and all things are able to exist, grow, develop, and multiply. Without the give and receive relationship between the smaller parts, nothing greater could exist. If all protons and electrons stopped relating to each other, the entire universe would disappear. The same is true for everything. How do I exist? It's because of the relationship between the parts that are within me. If the give and receive action between my mind and body were to stop, or if the give and receive action between my veins and arteries were to stop, or if the give and receive action between my inhaling and exhaling were to stop, I would drop dead. I would no longer be able to exist. If students and teachers in a classroom stopped having give and receive action, you would no longer have a school. If leaders of a nation and the citizens had no give and receive action, the nation would cease to exist. If men and women were to stop having give and receive action, in less than 100 years, the human race would cease to exist. Now let's look closer. How are these two parts, the masculine and feminine aspects of all existing beings, able to have this give and receive action between them? And how do they know how to move and how much to give and receive? The answer is, there is an original, invisible being, God, working behind the scenes. God's internal nature, his mind, provides the design for the creation to work, and God's external form, God's energy, provides the energy for the creation and for all things to engage in this give and receive action. We can see the original universal energy of God latent within every being. For example, we know it takes energy for something to move. Well, did you know that everything is moving all the time? Nothing is sitting still. You may think some things are not moving, like your car when it runs out of gas. But in reality, everything is moving. The Earth we are on is moving through space, traveling around the sun at an incredible speed, and the atoms and protons and electrons that everything is made of are moving. In fact, when scientists tried to prevent something from moving, they discovered that it wasn't possible. This is because everything has its origin in God and possesses God's universal energy. Then what is the fundamental model of existence? We call it the four-position foundation. All things exist based on four positions. In the first position, there is God, the origin, the being of mind and heart, and the source of energy for the universe. When God divided his dual nature, manifesting his masculine nature in one position and his, or should we say her, feminine nature in the other position, this formed positions 2 and 3. We call these positions subject and object. And finally, when the subject and object positions engage in give and receive action, they unite and form a new existence. This is the fourth position. It could be an atom, or a molecule, a plant, or a person, or the school, or the family, or basically anything and everything. The four-position foundation is a model that helps us to understand how things, including people, are able to exist, grow, and multiply. Everything, without exception, exists based on this model. This includes the family. The family four-position foundation plays a very special role in God's plan of creation. In most things, the force that draws the four positions together in a relationship of give and receive action is an automatic force, like gravity holding the earth and sun together, or the electromagnetic forces of plus and minus that draw two magnets together. But between people, the force is something special. It is the force we call love. When God and a man are drawn together by love, or when God and a woman are drawn together by love. And when such a man and a woman are drawn to each other by love, and when they give birth to children, and the children are drawn together with their father and mother and their brothers and sisters by love, this forms a family. This four-position foundation is the foundation upon which we were meant to fulfill the ideal of creation. As we mentioned in the introduction, the ideal of creation is about love. And the four-position foundation between God, a husband and wife, and their children is what enables God's love to be manifested in a visible, tangible way. All the patterns of love are found in the family. What does it mean to be a man? It means to experience certain specific relationships of love. A man is a son to his parents and to God. He is a brother to his siblings. He is a husband to his wife, and he is a father to his children. What does it mean to be a woman? To be a woman is to experience certain specific relationships of love as a woman. A woman is a daughter to God and to her parents. She is a sister to her siblings. She is a wife to her husband, and she is a mother to her children. And because the four-position foundation is the basis for love, it is also the basis for all that is good, beautiful, and true, because at the root of goodness, beauty, and truth, there is love. Goodness comes from love. When you offer someone a helping hand, if you do it because you want a reward, because you think it will make you look good, or maybe get you into a higher spot in heaven, we don't think of that as being good. But when you help someone because you sincerely care, because of love, then we say it's good. And how about beauty? Nothing is beautiful if you don't love it. And when you're in love with someone, they are the most beautiful of all. And what about truth? Truth also comes from love. You can know all the facts about a flower, but to really know the most important truth of a flower, you have to be able to love it, and to feel the love of God coming through it to you. And when do we experience the greatest joy? It is when we experience true love. And where is the deepest love experienced? It is experienced in the family four-position foundation. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven, what people have searched for all through history, is actually to be found in a family where a man, a woman, and children are united in God's love. This is where we can experience the greatest joy. This is the ideal of creation. Thank you for participating in this session. In the next session, we will be taking a look at the purpose of God's creation, or why did God create?